All right, what is up, you guys? So we're back with part 4 of Training 101. In part 1, we looked over why we're going to the gym in the first place. In part 2, we looked over how to determine your frequency, or how many days per week you're going to the gym. In part 3, we looked at how to pick your exercises. So if you missed any 3 of those, go back and watch them, right? They will lead into part 4. And then in part 4, we're going to talk about how to progress over time, how to get stronger, okay? So first, right? First, most important thing, remember Milo, right? So if you didn't watch parts 1, 2, and 3, go back and watch them now so that you can figure out who the heck Milo is, right? But remember, our target is progressive overload, slowly getting stronger over time, okay? And then also, start slow, okay? If Milo would have started when that bull was a year old already, he would have had to struggle to pick it up in the first place, right? And he would not give himself room to get stronger over time. It's much, much better to start with a weight that's way too light than one that's way too heavy, because something that I mentioned in those previous videos, technique is super important, right? Like, it is priority number 1. If you're doing something with sloppy form, you're risking injury, and it's not as effective as if you can do something with perfect form. So start with lower weights. No ego here. Do not be afraid to start lower than you may think you can, because we're going to be consistently getting stronger week after week after week. And if you start too heavy and get injured, you can't do that. So start lighter than you think you can, get your form dialed in perfectly, right? And then progress from there. So the 3 main variables that we have to progress are reps, weight, and sets, right? So we can increase the number of reps per set that we do, we can increase the amount of weight that we're using, and we can increase the total number of sets that we do, right? So let's look over some examples for that. So my favorite way to do it is what's called reverse pyramid training, okay? Typical pyramid training is where you would go 8 to 10, 6 to 8, and then 4 to 6, right? So the reverse pyramid training is you start with your heaviest set first, 4 to 6 reps, take some weight off the bar, 6 to 8 reps, take some more weight off, and then 8 to 10 reps. That's a great way to progress, because remember, we're trying to get as strong as possible in that 5 to 10 rep range. So when you come in and warm up for your heaviest set first, the main thing we're trying to do, get stronger in that 5 to 10 rep range, is going to be our priority. We're going to knock that out at the beginning of the workout versus going like 12, 10, 8, 6, 6, 6, something like that. You're not putting first things first in that scenario, because our main goal is to get stronger every single session. So we're going to focus on that first with that first set of 4 to 6, right? You'll also, by default, get stronger in the 6 to 8 and 8 to 10 rep range, because the weight that you use for 6 to 8 and 8 to 10 is based on what you're able to get for that 4 to 6. So what that would look like is you would walk into the gym, right, get loose, warm up with lighter weights, working up to a top set, your heaviest set of 4 to 6 reps, right? So say in week 1 on an exercise, you got 225 for 5 reps, right? So another way to think about it is, in these rep ranges, we're trying to graduate from that rep range, okay? So I got 225 for 5. I was going for 6, but I couldn't get it, right? If you're pushing yourself and using weights that are heavy enough, that's gonna happen, right? That's supposed to happen. And then say I took some weight off the bar, got 205 for 8, right? Took some more weight off, got 185 for 9, right? So that's a super solid workout, okay? So next week, I'm walking in the gym, I look at my notes, track your lifts, super important. I look at my notes and say, okay, last week I got 225 for 5 reps. To graduate from this 4 to 6 range, this week I need to get it for at least 6 reps, okay? So you go for it and you got it, right? So you are applying progressive overload, you're bigger and stronger than last time, because last time you could only get 225 for 5, this time you got it for 6. That's the name of the game, right? Like, you won. That is winning, okay? So then I take some weight off the bar. I also realized that last week I got 205 for 8, so I graduated from this 6 to 8 rep range. So I'm gonna add some weight to the bar, right? So you earn your right to go up in weight by graduating from this rep range, okay? So I added some weight to the bar, got 210 for 7, good, okay? Last time, only got 185 for 9, okay? I'm gonna go for 10. This time, I'm cranking them out, right? I'm just lifting through it. I get to 10 and I feel like I have more left in the tank. Go to 12 in that scenario, okay? So we never want to like stop short of any type of muscle or strength gains that we can get. So especially on this last set, like you're shooting for 10, but if you get to 10 and you feel like you got a couple more, go ahead and knock those out, okay? Like you're just gonna progress faster that way. And then next week, add weight to the bar, right? So as you can see here, we're looking at adding 5 pounds to the bar whenever we try to make a jump. It doesn't always have to be 5. It can be less than 5, right? If you use like micro chips, like smaller weights, usually like your gym's gonna have like 2.5. It's gonna be the lowest it's gonna go. So like to increase by 5 pounds each time is the best way to do it. But if on a big compound lift, like squats or deadlifts or something like that, if you feel like you can increase by 10 pounds week to week, go for it. So remember, our main goal is to apply progressive overload, get as strong as possible on key compound movements in the 5 to 10 rep range, right? This way of training accomplishes all of those goals, okay? Another thing you can do, so we talked about adding weight and reps, right? So we're adding weight and reps between weeks, right? The next thing you can do is add on more sets, right? So this is only 3 sets, right? 1 set of 4 to 6, 1 of 6 to 8, and 1 of 8 to 10. You can add on another 8 to 10 at the end of this, or a 10 to 12, or something like that. That's another way to progress, especially in a mass phase where it just feels like 3 sets isn't really enough, right? Add on some to the end. So one of my favorite people to listen to and watch and learn from is Dr. Mike Israetel from Renaissance Periodization. He talks about adding sets is a lot like eating your favorite type of food, right? So if you're eating a slice of pizza, like 1 slice is great, right? But when you get done with it, you're kind of like, you just have that feeling that you need more. Same thing with sets, right? If you do 1 super set of 5 to 10 and you're like a beginner, and I said superset, I don't mean like the terminology superset, but just 1 great set of 5 to 10 and you're a beginner, that may be all you need, right? That could be like, when you're smaller, you eat 1 piece of pizza and you're satisfied, right? As you increase and grow and get bigger and stronger, you're gonna have the feeling like, man, I need another set on that. Like, feel free to add sets as you feel necessary, okay? So that's it for progression. So you can increase weight, reps, and sets. I went over how to know when to increase in each of those, okay? But just remember, start slow, right? Progressive overload is the name of the game. And you have to earn the right to add weight to the bar. All of this is assuming that your technique and form stay perfect, right? If form starts to break down and you start to get sloppy, those reps do not count. You're way better off dropping the weight, doing the reps perfectly like you should, okay? So take ego out of it. That's it for part 4. In part 5, we're gonna look at how to deload and then how to set up your next training cycle. So that's it for part 4. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.